Sorry. Sorry, that sucks. I just, I've had this problem all morning. Okay, we don't need to get everyone back in here. Hi. Not having so much fun with that video. Or the lesson plan. Yes, no.
Well, I mean, you're clear so far.
Can't. Can I, on a second. Okay. What? That's off. Okay. Can you hear me now? Or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yes.
It's better now?
It's kind of the same. Like we can hear you, but it's cutting in and out a lot.
Hi. Bear with me today. Maybe it'll only be an hour if this is okay. Let's just have everybody's mic off. Okay, that sometimes helps too. And then if I ask you a question, just shake your head yes or no. Okay? That way we can see if we can try it, sound, if it'll work a little better. You hear me better? No? Apparently not anybody's head. You can't hear me, huh? I don't know what's going on with this sound. I'm not muted, so, no.
I can hear you.
Yeah, now it's a
You
little
can hear me
better.
better? Okay, all right. Okay, then go ahead and keep them off and then hit the chat if you have to ask me a question when what we're doing, okay? All right, so under the infection, after you put in caused by a pathogenic bacteria or virus that enters the body and multiplies. Okay. Everyone have that part in there. Okay, all right, so underneath it, you're going to write contagious, AKA communicable. And it basically means it can be transmitted by touch or air. It could be airborne, laying on a surface, a desk. Then we're going to add one in there that's known as bloodborne pathogens. Okay, and this actually is carried through our blood. And you're going to add that to that area underneath infection. So you should have contagious and bloodborne pathogen underneath there. Okay. And that carried through the blood. Okay, so everyone got that in there? All right, local basically means a small area. And so I think a little, okay? They both start with L, local and little, to help you remember it. And it's just a small part of the body. It's not the entire body. It's just like when you get shocked with maybe even a high frequency, or when you're running your little feet, okay, on the carpet and you try to shock your brother or sister, you know, that kind of a shock. That's what's known as a local shock. It's a general shock, you're going to put down it's a giant shock because it's going to go through the entire body. So it can electrocute somebody and actually kill them. So it just depends on how strong it is. Okay. So a local one is little, so it is like a giant one. Okay. And it can kill you, basically, electrocute you. An asymptomatic, right? This is a person that carries, shows no signs of the disease. So this type of a person is really scary for the medical industry, okay? And for us too, because they don't show any symptoms that they're sick, and yet they are sick, and they can pass that to you. Yeah. So you're trying to think, well, I wasn't around anybody that was sick. Somebody had to be asymptomatic to get it. Okay. So it means they carry the disease but show no outward signs of the disease. That one just scares me to death, okay? Because the only way you can protect yourself is through something else to protect yourselves. Okay, the immunity, right? Is that the next part of your book?
We have universal precautions.
Oh, universal precautions? Okay. Universal precaution means the same infection everybody. That's all it means. Definition of it. Using the same infection control procedures on everyone. So you want to protect yourself, so you assume that everybody's infected so that you protect yourself. They're not going to tell you, you know what I mean? How many times did you come to school and you weren't feeling well and you're like, I'm okay, I just got a headache, and then you end up with a flu, right? And you've infected everybody else because you were there because you didn't feel so great. So universal precautions means using the same infection control procedures on everyone. Okay, and this and infection control is the two questions people get mixed up on a test. Because infection control is basically the efforts we use to prevent it, but universal precaution means using the infection control procedures on everyone. Okay, do you have immunity after this one, after the universal precautions? Okay. Yeah. Okay, immunity means the bodies can destroy infectious diseases. Okay, that's basically what it means. Okay, the body can destroy infectious agents that enter the body. So you're a baby and you haven't gotten your little shots, you know, like 3 months, 6 month shots or something like that, and your mother is breastfeeding you, your immune system is built up on hers, okay? So you stay healthy, and then they start giving you shots to help you stay healthy, supposedly. Okay. And so they sometimes give you these live viruses, which will be a little bit of the disease so that your body can fight off just that little bit. Okay, and then the next time it gets exposed to it, it goes, oh, it doesn't freak out because it's already been exposed to that disease. So that's what your vaccinations kind of work like. All right, ability to have immunity. So it comes in two parts, that natural and passive, right? Under natural, you should have, the first bullet should say partially inherited, which means basically from your 4 little dots like that. No?
There's no natural there.
It says active.
Okay. Active, that's okay. Write natural right next to it, hit a slash, because it's in the textbook, they're using active, but it means the same thing as natural, okay? So that you know that both mean the same thing, which means it's partially inherited from your parents, right? The second one is the body produces white blood cells. Okay, the body produces white blood cells. The third one would be antitoxins to fight infection. Okay, antitoxins to fight infection. And then the last one's going to be the skin protects, because it's your first line of defense. If you have a cut, infection can get in there. And sometimes you a paper cut because you got gloves on and your fingers like a paper cut. So you don't know if you've got one of those times. You might be around somebody that infection can get into your bodies through an open wound. Passive, is that what it says on yours? On the other side? Okay. Under passive, you should write acquired, which basically means you need a shot or a vaccination to stimulate the body's immune response. Okay, so you're going to write in there acquired for the first one. And the second shot stimulates the body's response. Like, they call it an inoculation shot.
Can you repeat the second one?
The shot stimulates the body's immune response. Wakes it up. So that maybe you've already been exposed to it, okay? So you won't get that when it's up and letting in going to do. Is it going to protect us or is it going to give us that disease? Okay. Are we good? Shall we try bringing up infection control? All right, I'm going to try and bring that one up. So if should have a better luck with a second. I'm going to pull it up because you really need this part of the lecture. When it says infection control, okay, we're going to put in there the efforts to prevent this disease. The spread of disease. I have to let someone. Okay. All right. Back to you. This. Right back as soon as I get. The screen. So you can Here you are, you're all coming back. This thing just doesn't want to work. It just decides, I don't want to. Okay, let's see. Did Matty in the room? Not. See. Came in later at 1. Okay, remember our time has changed to 12:30 to 2:30, well, 2:15 basically. Okay, so as soon as it's finished loading here, and then we can download that part of it. You also have Efficacy right below that, right? On your screen or on your textbook. Okay. Come on. All right. Let's get this thing up. I don't want the video. Here we go. Maybe. I know, I thought it was effectiveness, but it's basically efficacy means effectiveness. And that should be the last word on that page. Am I right? In the book right here? In your study guide, are you guys still seeing me?
Talking about efficiency label.
Of efficacy, effectiveness. It was efficient. I had to have by pivot. Video. Is the thing that was on your book or your handout, whichever. So if you turn to page 42, and it starts off with the infection control pyramid, am I right?
Right.
Did you have more on the other page though, Anthony?
So on the other
That I didn't
page,
cover?
on the very first page, all I have is infection control.
Okay,
Everything
and then
else
it
is
just
blank.
then you're going to write in there efficacy.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead. What?
No, I got you.
Oh, okay, just making sure. It's only those two things on that page. Then we go into the next one. It should be your pyramid, and then it should say key terms and matching. Is that right? On page 42. Okay.
What do we need to write under efficacy?
Effectiveness.
Okay, thank you.
Effectiveness. Because it basically is telling you how well your solutions are working. That's what that means. The effectiveness of it. Oh, I'm echoing in on top of that. Okay. So it's going to go through the 3 levels of infection control, which is sanitation, disinfection 2, the third one, sterilization, and then it will go through infection control guidelines. So kind of slide to the first one here. Infection control, the right? So you're going to go to the bottom bubble, the sanitation, okay? and it says removes, right? And you're going to put in there, okay? Right, to removes, okay? Sanitation is the removing and prevent microbes on the skin, okay? And that's why we use an antiseptic, okay, product applied to the skin to remove microbes, their growth on the skin, because we can't disinfect, okay? So under sanitation, right next to it, you're going to write where it says right up to write growth microorganisms. I know. I can't hear you, Anthony. You're like echoing. Go ahead. Anthony.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you were asking me. I was like, are your books from the bottom of those bubbles that start sanitation, antiseptic, disinfection, bloodborne pathogen, and sterilization at the top? On your
They're
left side at the top. Okay,
under
all
key
right.
terms
And matching, correct?
and matching on the other side.
All right. So I'm going to move to the next page, and it's going to go through disinfection. Okay. Disinfection standards require products to destroy or kill bacteria and a broad spectrum of viruses. It applies to the tools and implements that we use in the salon. So next to disinfection, you're going to write kills bacteria, but spore.
Miss Jeannie,
Huh?
did you mark me as here? I came in late because of my math teacher. He wouldn't let me leave.
Who is this?
It's Eva.
I'm speaking. Eva, okay, I got you. You're in. Yeah, I just put your time in, so it's okay. All right. So you've got kills certain bacteria, but not spores. Okay. All right, then you're going to go into, should be your bloodborne, or it'll go into disinfectants. These are chemical products that are used to destroy bacteria and some viruses. So in order for a disinfectant to work in our industry, okay, it has to kill bacteria, TB, fungus, viruses, and pseudomonas, cytals. So basically, it has to kill harmful bacteria, kill tuberculosis, destroy fungus, kill viruses, and kill pseudomonas. So if it does not say those 4 things or 5 things on the label itself, then it's not an approved disinfectant for our industry. Okay? Just so that you know. So like your little wipes that you have to get now, instead of like disinfectant board, it has to have that label and say that it kills all of those things on the label. All right. It also has to have its directions on how to mix it on the label. So if you're taking a bottle, or I mean, wipes, what? I already gave it to, sorry, I already gave it to Sue. Okay. If you get the label, you can print it up off of the internet and put it on a, I guess, right on the outside of baby wipes if you want to, for state board if you're going to make your own kit. So I just wanted to let you know you have to have the original label on there. Your broad spectrum now, it's a group of disinfectants that kill bacteria, viruses, fungi, and pseudomonas, but you're going to write kills next to that bloodborne pathogen disinfection, kills HIV and HBV, okay? That's what you're going to fill in that line. Kills HIV and HBV. And you're going to move into sterilization. No, OSHA standards. Sterilization on the top of there, all microbes, just in case it doesn't come back. Sterilization kills all microbes. So that's going to be good and bad. Okay, and you have the matching where it's going to be drawing a line from the initials to the correct match. So we're going to just go through the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, which is known as OSHA. This is the regulating agency under the Department of Labor that enforces health and safety standards in your workplace. So it's there for you as an employee, okay? It has put regulations such as material safety data sheets, known as MSDS, or S, which is known as safety data sheets now, and the labeling of products in place. That binder that he has, okay, you will have to have one in your salon, okay? Every salon has to have one, or school, and it has to have a safety data sheet for each chemical that's in that business. So if you've got, 15 different colors of OPI, you will have 15 different safety data sheets for it because it's going to have a different coloring in it, right? So it makes it a different chemical. But when the state examiner comes out to cite your salon to check it out, they can actually request you to give them a book. They want to see what you're actually using in your salon, okay? The EPA is the Environmental Protection Agency. They are the ones that approve the efficacy of the products you use for infection control. It assigns an EPA registered number to ensure that the product is safe and effective, okay? So when we're doing your little matching right here, you'll be able to determine what goes where, okay? And here's your OSHA bloodborne pathogen standards. It requires the use of an EPA registered disinfectant with the efficacy against HIV and HBV or tuberculosis cycle. Okay, it applies to the implements that accidentally come in contact with blood or bodily fluids. Okay, we shouldn't be causing blood or bodily fluids. All right, so you're going to draw a line from the initials to the correct match. So on your book or your handout there, OSHA is the Department of Labor. You can cross it over to that. The MSDS is the key info on product ingredients. Okay, it not only tells you the ingredients that are in it, but it also tells you how to store it, any type of cancer-causing agents in it, and how much exposure time you can have on that. Okay, it gives you a lot of information. Even if you spill it on something, how to get rid of it, how to clean it up. So your safety data sheets are very important. And then your EPA is going to be the one that approves the efficacy of your disinfectants, okay? They regulate that part. So you'll need to know all three of those for board. Okay, let me see what I've got here. Okay. So we're going to go back to the key terms, okay? So your antiseptic, I want you to write in there, it prevents the growth of microorganisms on the skin, okay? Prevents the growth of microorganisms on the skin. Because you wouldn't use an antiseptic to spray your table or wipe your table with it, okay? It's only used for the skin, okay? All right, your bloodborne pathogen disinfection, it's a required disinfectant for all implements that come in contact with blood or bodily fluids. Okay, it's a required disinfection for all implements that come in contact with blood or bodily fluids. Okay, it requires HIV, it requires to be effective against HIV and HBV. So it has to kill those two also. Okay. So it's not only blood and bodily fluid, kill HIV, basically on the surface of the counters. It's not really on skin. Oh, all right. Your broad spectrum, which is your hospital grade, that's a group of disinfectants that kill bacteria, viruses, fungi, and pseudomonas. Am I going too fast for you guys? No? Okay. And then you have your efficacy label. And this informs the disinfectant user, which would be you, okay, on what the product is effective in fighting against. So it will tell you whether it kills HIV or HBV or viruses or fungus, okay? It basically tells you what it will kill, okay? So it's not the number that tells you that, okay? Because it is given a registered number, okay? But the label only informs you on what it's going to kill, okay? And the directions on it. Okay. I'm going to turn the page over here. We should be on the guidelines, but it doesn't say that in yours. Yours goes straight into first aid, right? The next part of this. In your study guide, it doesn't go through the disinfection procedures, right? Okay, so we're just going to go over them. These are your guidelines and procedures. You need to disinfect your combs and brushes after use, which means to remove the debris that's on the comb or brush or utensil. You have to wash it with soap and water, rinse it, okay, pat it dry, and then you're going to put it into the disinfectant solution, okay? And it needs to be in that disinfectant solution for 10 minutes. After the 10 minutes, you're going to use gloved hands or tongs to remove it from the solution. Rinse it off, and then you're going to dry it, and now you can put it in a clean storage. So it could be in a little container, but it has to be closed. All right, you need to change the chemical solutions as recommended, and the recommended is once a week or whenever cloudy. So when I only have a couple of students in my class, once a week works just fine. But when I have 15 girls in here, it has to be changed daily, even sometimes twice a day because it gets cloudy. All right. It shouldn't get cloudy from bacteria, from you not washing it first. That's what I want to make clear. You do have to do your washing it. All right. To disinfect and unplug your electrical appliances, there is a test question that asks you, how do you disinfect electrical appliances? And the answer is going in the manufacturer's directions, use a specific product because each one of them are going to be different. Okay. So following the manufacturer's instructions, you're going to, all right, good, you got that one. All right. Then it just repeats what I said. Wash, rinse, and disinfect by completely immersing all cosmetology, nail care, aesthetic, and electrolysis tools and metal implements after each use. Okay, so the same steps: wash, rinse, it's supposed to be dry, disinfect for the program. Okay, and then it's removed with your gloved hand, tongs, and rinsed again, and then put away. All right. So these are the things that we're going to just get rid of or disinfect. You're going to discard emery boards, cosmetic sponges, orange wood sticks after each use. Okay. You're going to store disinfectant tools in the disinfected dry covered container or cabinet, which basically means I've kept them in Ziploc baggies that are labeled clean or new. Okay, you can put it in a little box as long as it's sealed all the way around. That could be your storage. All right, we don't have sharp objects in this part. Dispose of sharp objects in a sealable rigid container. Barbers probably would for a razor, but we really don't have anything like that. And then you want to labelly store the disinfecting products. Okay, you don't want to put them with your other chemicals. So I'm not going to put my disinfectants with my hair color, in other words. All right, you have separate cabinets for that. Everyone want to understand how that's getting stored. Usually in a cool, dark place, not out in the sun. All right, here's some more precautions. Tightly covered and labeled container or in the cool area. Avoid inhaling or spilling chemical solutions and avoid contact with the skin or eyes and wipe up immediately all spills. Okay. Refer to the material safety data sheets or safety data sheets for proper procedures if contact with the eyes or skin occurs. And also with cleanup, because I remember one of the dropped nail polish on the floor after we had them just finished waxing them. And every one of the teachers went around trying to clean that up with acetone and all kinds of stuff. And Ms. Becky looked at us and goes, what happened to the safety data sheet? That would have told you how to clean that up. We're all standing there like, oh. So something for you to remember. Sure you for your directions. All right, sterilization is the most effective level of infection control. Okay, it kills or destroys all microbes. You want to consult the area's regulating agency, who is the Board of Barbering and Cosmetology for us, okay, regarding the cosmetology service and sterilization procedures. In cosmetology in California, we do disinfection. We don't do sterilization. Okay, we do sanitation and disinfection. So I've asked this a couple of times on a test question. It asks, what's the first level of infection? Is it sterilization, disinfection, sanitation, or washing your hands? Pick one.
Disinfection.
Sanitation.
Sanitation.
Sanitation, yeah, it's sanitation, because it's not washing your hands, because that's the action of the sanitation, but it's asking the level. That was the actual question. What's the first level of infection control? And we start with sanitation first, and then disinfection, and then move up sterilization. So what I'm trying to get at is when you go to state board and you see the easy questions like that, they're not as easy as read them carefully. Okay. All right. Here it goes down again. Further go through. Okay, sanitation, we're gonna sanitize countertops, sinks, floors, toilets, towels, linens. Okay, the procedure, that's supposed to be disinfection. Sanitation, because it says use an EPA registered cleaning product, right? Right below it, it says your hands before each service, right? Using liquid soap, avoid bar soaps. That would be sanitation. And then your hands and your hands and or feet prior to a manicure or pedicure service. You're going to use an antiseptic for their hands and or their feet. And remember, we used to spray their feet before we put a little bucket for water. But that top one where it says countertops, sinks, toilets, that's all disinfection. And I'm sorry that it's under sanitation right there. All right. I'm going to try and finish this part before we get to a break. Okay, and I will give you a break. So the basics of hand washing. You want to use warm water and liquid soap. You want to work up a lather for at least 20 seconds. If you don't know how long that is, sing happy birthday twice. Position your hands and fingertips downward when you're rinsing, and dry your hands well to remove any remaining microorganisms, because they like that damp, dark, and dirty place. Okay, so you want to make sure you don't carry anything back. But after last week's incident in the restroom, I'm going to ask every one of you to make sure you check before you leave the restroom. Okay, because something left behind, someone else to clean up, and it was bad. So I'm just going to give you so you don't have to have toilet training 101. It was very bad. All right. Disinfection. Okay, the items that you're going to disinfect would be the tools and implements. Shut off. Who is that? Mute sound. All right, tools and implements that have come in contact with bodily fluids. All right. The procedure is a material EPA registered disinfectant effective against HIV and HBV or tuberculosis. Vital. Tools and implements that have not come in contact with bodily fluids. You're going to use a broad spectrum EPA registered virucidal, fungicidal, pseudomonacidal disinfectant. It's just reviewing it. Okay. All right. Your sterilization. Tools and implements that are used to puncture or invade the skin. Do we puncture or invade the skin in our industry? No. It's against our scope altogether. So it says use a liquid sterilant moist or dry heat calibrated to various temperatures to produce a microbe-free result on non-porous substances. All right, let's see here. I can finish this. Okay, so we'll do self-check when we come back. Okay, I'm going to give you a 10-minute break. So 1:35, you come back. I'm going to ask that you don't log off of the classroom. Just turn your screen around or go do whatever you want to do for 10 minutes if you don't want to stand in front of your screen. Okay, instead of logging out and then coming back in. All right, I'll see you back here at 1:35. don't have much left. Are you bored there, Anthony?
I'm good.
Are you bored? Yeah.
I just use this to review.
Oh. Well,
Every
what's
once
kind
in
of
a
nice
while,
about,
every once in a while, you give me something different a little bit, so I
Oh.
put it in. But for the most part, it's all the same.
yeah. That's good, though. That's really good. Because I remember Connie and I went through it the first time, huh, with you guys? I'm pretty sure. Were
A
you?
little bit of it, a little bit. The
Yeah.
disinfection and sanitation.
And the part, she had used like the barber's part of it because it can be interchangeable, but it just made it difficult for the Cosmos. I go, there's more Cosmos than there are barbers in that class. I mean, because they weren't showing up. So I thought it'd be easier to go through the Cosmo part with you guys.
Well, for
How you
me,
hanging in there?
I'm always in the book. So I'm always doing
Good.
the book. I'm always doing the pivot points. So whether it's barber or it's whatever's in that book under that section,
Yep.
I'm reading all of that.
And it helps. It really does help. If you don't read it, you're not going to know anything by looking at just these notes. I tell
That's
people that all the time. They're like, what? I go, you got to read your book.
Mm-hmm.
It helps you with this note, with the notes, if you read it. So I'm going to finish up this last 2 pages here, and then go through test questions. Okay. So tomorrow I'll go through test questions again. If we don't finish them today, I'll go through the first hour of test questions and then go into the next chapter. Did they give you chapter 3 this week?
No.
What did they give you for homework?
The same. They gave us the same definitions, except for there was maybe 10 new ones. And then
Okay.
it's the stuff we're still on, chapter 2.
For chapter 2?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I can still, oh, no, I can't really go into it. Maybe he'll put it on this, yes, if you need it, if you don't have a book and you need a handout for chapter 3.
Uh-huh.
Isn't that a,
I can do chapter 3. I don't have homework on it, but I can do it. Like I could do all the pivot point and the smart notes and all that like I normally do.
but I'm asking the other people that don't have that. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
don't know about
Because I don't know if they have it in there, like what they were handed out. But I think they can send them, they have a printer and pull it up. They might have to come in and get, I mean, I'm gonna ask how long is it gonna take you? And I'm like, well, if it takes me 2 hours to get through the rest of this, we could be done. You know, you might only have an hour tomorrow, I'll ask, just so I can get through. And if that's the case, we'll just review test questions. Okay, there's plenty of them. There's like, but I'm only 25 on your test. So I always like to go through all of them because you don't know which questions are going to be on there. You know what I mean?
that. Right.
So it's reviewing. So has everybody come back yet? Let's see if I got back in here. Come back. Some of them probably didn't even leave. Max, are
Yes,
you
ma'am.
there?
Here.
Just checking. Uh, Your next section on here, though, it goes through bleeding wounds, correct? Let me just make sure we're on that. Everything's still the same in my book as it is in yours before I continue. Then it has
Yes,
procedures for, okay,
First aid.
going, heat and electric, right? Okay. The next page has fainting, injury, and then kill, scratch, an embedded object.
Yeah.
Page. Okay. I just want to make sure there was nothing else extra, you know what I mean? So we're waiting for a couple people to get back here. It's not long enough to really do anything on it, except for leave the screen. There's Samantha. Okay. Abby. Still. Okay. Let's share that screen again so we can go through this. Identify whether it describes sanitation or disinfection. Okay. Of an anesthetic. Sanitation. Anyone?
Oh, I don't know what you said.
It was
Sanitation.
cutting out.
Anesthetic. I'm sorry. It says, okay, I statement describe.
Going back and forth.
You guys are all frozen now. Okay, I'm gonna have to come back.